After so many disappointing Disney projects, it's been getting harder to tolerate the garbage. So of course, I was reluctant to give the Ahsoka show a chance. But I gotta say, it's pretty decent. I'm compelled to ignore all of the flaws with the show, simply because Anakin showed up.
I don't like sand.
And for the most part, people online seem to love this show. Which leads me to one conclusion. Dave Filoni knows the power of nostalgia. Nostalgia is a strong tool that's often used to manipulate audiences. When I watch Ahsoka, I feel manipulated. The cowboy-loving Dave Filoni, who brought us projects like Rebels and the Clone Wars, has been playing chess while we're playing checkers. And he taught me a lesson that as long as you bring back fan favorites, people tend to be more lenient with the rest of the show's flaws, especially when comparing the previous underwhelming trash shows to this. But I'm not completely sold, because although Anakin's return was cool and nostalgic, and the ending was a semi-climactic cliffhanger, I just didn't feel anything. The visuals were cool and the callbacks were fun, and that's about it. So what's missing here? Why don't I care as much as the other fans?
The voice and everything, it was wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Dave Filoni knows the power of nostalgia, but he doesn't know the right way to use it. I look at shots like this and feel much more emotion in a scene with zero lines or action. It encapsulates everything about the Clone Wars shows and tells you so much. Why? Because it's nostalgia done right. It's nostalgia done in a way where it makes sense given the context of the scene and everything leading up to it. When Darth Vader's reflection walks away from the helmet, you're reminded of the past 7 seasons building up to this final shot. You remember all of the clones who desperately fought for their autonomy and the Jedi who were betrayed. You remember Anakin and his connection with everyone, making his turn much more tragic. Darth Vader walking away is symbolic of the show's ending, and with that, the memories of the Clone Wars. But when you see Anakin in Ahsoka's show, what do you actually feel? What purpose does he serve? Because you can remove this episode from the series and it would still play out normally. Yeah, it's visually interesting, but it serves no purpose other than nostalgia bait. In fact, the nostalgia here is so powerful that Anakin's mere existence managed to win back, if not manipulate, fans into praising this mediocre show.
Good job, Dave Filoni. I'm not worthy.
Dave Filoni, you have my soul.
The writers fully rely on nostalgia for people to like it. For a minute, let's look past this feeling. Why is Anakin here? How is he here? Is this a Force ghost of him, or is this what Ahsoka thinks of him? If the latter, since when was Anakin the root of her fears and regrets? Why is his legacy full of death and destruction in her mind, as if he didn't turn good in the end and stop the Empire? Ahsoka showed no sign of inner turmoil or grappled with the thought of Anakin's legacy beforehand. Or since when was Ahsoka ashamed of all the deaths she caused? As if not fighting in the war would cause significantly more casualties. Everyone who fought alongside her believed in the cause and what they were fighting for. By giving up and choosing,
I want to stop fighting.
isn't she giving up on those who truly need her most? Considering Thrawn's return is supposed to be happening, and especially when Sabine needs her the most. In Spider-Man No Way Home, another Disney project where a legacy character from the early 2000s comes back to mentor the newer generation, it's logical for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to come back. Tom Holland's Spider-Man had been grappling with his independence since Homecoming. His variants teach him how to deal with the responsibility of his power and the sacrifices that must be made with it. It also coincides with the multiverse theme of the phase, while not being shoehorned in there just for praise from the fans. So No Way Home succeeds in the way that Ahsoka fails. Nostalgia aside, how is Ahsoka supposed to be this amazing show by Dave Filoni when the show is completely devoid of all logic? Ahsoka herself goes through no story arc and constantly remains the same calm, stoic character with little personality. The same can be said for the Rebels crew, who all lack the joy and likability they had from their respective show, which is completely far off from the characters most fans know about them from the animated series. Everyone has horribly bland dialogue and speaks so slowly just to sound meaningful.
Can I count on you?
You know you can.
Nope.
Or prolong the runtime of Ahsoka's show. Well, it's actually more so Sabine's show than Ahsoka's, who has a greater significance than the actual title character. Sabine has little to no emotional range and is also so strong that not even a lightsaber piercing her can kill her. Suddenly, for some shoehorned reason, she's now Ahsoka's apprentice and forgot how powerful the Force is.
I can't see. How am I supposed to fight?
Yeah, Sabine must have forgotten about Kanan, her father figure, who is literally blind and used the Force. She also gambles on the fate of the entire galaxy just so she can see Ezra, and it's all fine and dandy because no one cares. She faces no responsibility for her actions, just like Hera, who got innocent soldiers killed, put her son in danger, and forged Republic documents just so she can face no consequences and going back to her noble cause, stopping Thrawn. Are we really supposed to be scared of the genius tactical warlord who loses every single move he makes and is written by people who thinks a loss is
an acceptable outcome?
Blue Elon Musk can't even kill 2 Jedi and a Mandalorian. So how am I supposed to be scared of this guy? He's an idiot wearing a genius's mask. So he's scary just because he speaks slowly and twirls his invisible mustache? What's up with everyone's acting? Were they told to be as calm as possible? Sabine and Hera barely have an emotional response to Ezra's return. You know, his literal mother figure and sister figure? Sabine and Ezra's scene lacks the emotion that should have been there, considering he had been gone for 11 years. And Ezra doesn't seem to care that his life sacrifice was made in vain because Sabine set Thrawn free, the guy who wants to bring back the Empire. You know who would be really upset if they heard about the threat of this genius Empire loyalist? Luke Skywalker, the only logical character who would be here trying to stop Thrawn's new Empire. He's not a depressed old man yet, so why didn't Ahsoka go to him for help and instead go seek the aid of the Rebels crew? What are they going to do that Luke can't? And that's nostalgia done in a way that makes logical sense, not even taking into account whatever the writers would have come up with, but it probably could have been better than what we got. A lackluster story with little development for any character that just serves as a stepping point to a new Star Wars product. The wasted potential in this show was immense. Not even talking about Balin's and Shin's character. I'm talking about Ahsoka, her character arc, her personality, and oh boy, her combat. Her combat scenes were clunky and painfully slow to watch. Remember, this is the woman who defeated Darth Maul. Her losing to Balin makes zero sense, and honestly, it shouldn't have even been remotely close. A majority of the characters move faster than her, including Morgan Elsbeth, who is a witch and not a Jedi. And why was the battle with Morgan the climactic fight of the show? Who cares about these two fighting? It served no purpose to the ending or Ahsoka's arc. And speaking of that, Filoni had to retcon the end of Rebels, just so Ahsoka can go through what some would call a character arc and find her inner peace. Except Ahsoka was already in a place of peace at the end of Rebels, indicated by her white clothing. So I guess he had to redo that just so she can go through the whole nostalgia bait process and end up where she already was before. And these are just some of the countless flaws that are covered up simply because Anakin showed up. As a diehard fan of this franchise, it's hard to get excited for stuff like this because I know I'm just being exploited. When I hear Huyang say the iconic line,
"A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away,"
I'm not washed by this overwhelming emotion. I'm just sitting there cringing. I don't feel the same love or passion put into these stories as before. And that leads me to one last thing. Did I like the Ahsoka show?
I miss the idea of it. But not the truth, the weakness,